For the 2018 World Cup, Adidas decided to go back in the 1990s archive to form the creative direction for their rollout at the 2018 Russian World Cup. This is an extremely brilliant move because all they had to do was rework the previous designs of previous kit designers. And they've done a pretty good job at doing that, at going through each national team and figuring out how to go about giving each kit a modern refresh, because the tricky thing is that most of these 90s kits are holy grails for any kit collector. So what they've done with the national German kit was actually extremely brilliant, because they reduced the amount of color while also figuring out how to incorporate the World Cup Champions badge. While for Argentina, they reused particular design elements in the Columbian home and away kit from the 1990s, as you can see with the trapezoids coming out of the armpits. While for Spain, they particularly just did a carbon copy of the existing kit from the 1990s and they modernized it. So let's hop on through and look at some of the kits I have from the 2018 World Cup edition, starting with Mexico. So funny enough, the Mexican national team were actually not sponsored by Adidas in the 1990s. So this actually was a pretty decent job, given that the Adidas creative team did not have any retro kit to actually inform the redesign from. So they did a pretty good job of just using two shades of green, because in the past, previous Mexican kits have not always been such a banger given the multiple colors going on in this one. But as you can see, they've done a good job of keeping like a white trim in various places. So it's along the collar, along the shoulder sleeve as well as the three stripes, and as well as the Adidas logo. So an interesting Easter egg over here that we've got is that with each trapezoid shape from top to bottom, the opacity of green actually decreases. And you can see it's consistent with the pinstripes. In my opinion, the Mexican badge here is a bit too big and a bit too aggressive. However, thoroughly brilliant job. And if we look to the back of the shirt, you'll see they've got a slogan which translates to "I am Mexico." And I love it when kit manufacturers put these little slogans at the back of club and national team shirts. So next up, we've got the Colombian national team kit. This is easily one of my favorite kits in my entire collection as well. So what they've also done with this particular kit is that they've just bought the previous one from the 1990s into 2018 with a modern refresh and reduced the amount of colors. And as you can see, we've got these trapezoidal shapes coming out from the armpits, and in this case the opacity has stayed the same, and we've just got these navy blue pinstripes across the red and the blue. So these colors obviously are harking on from the Colombian national team flag as well. And when we come to the collar, we've got an interesting little samurai fold, and yet again we've got a consistent trim from the three stripes as well as Adidas's logo. When we come to the back of the shirt, their logo translates to United for One Country, and the brilliant part is that it uses the Colombian flag as a bit of a gradient throughout the entire shirt. So my only criticism about this shirt is this is a stadium version of this shirt, and it is quite heavy and quite thick. So compared to the other two shirts that I do have with the Japanese and the Mexican one. However, not a biggie, still one of my favorite shirts in my entire collection. Lastly, we've got the Blue Samurai of Japan. So funny enough, they've been sponsored by Adidas since 1999, but then they had a break with a few other sponsors, and then they were sponsored by Adidas in 1990. So there is actually a reference kit for the Blue Samurai. But however, Adidas actually decided to start from a clean slate, and what they've done here is they've just got these pinstripes in black and these dotted lines on the front of the shirt. And as you can see, they've also got a V-neck collar, very similar to the Mexican national team kit. However, it's got a red trim, but the interesting part about this one is that the red trim doesn't translate to the Adidas logo nor the stripes, interestingly enough. But what I do feel was a good creative decision with this particular kit was not transferring the pinstripes to the back of the kit, as well as the sleeves of the entire kit, which would make it be a bit too busy. And out of the two that I do have, it is the most busiest, but easily good on the eye. And as you can see here, We've got the Japanese Federation's logo as well as the Japanese flag on top of it, which I think is always a lovely touch to have a bit more going on national team kits outside of just the number in the player's number in the middle. The inside of the shirt, there's this weird diamond logo with a few weird logos going on. This is a bit of a shame. Would have been nice to actually see it at the back of the shirt, and so I'm not too sure what these symbols actually represent or translate to, but I do feel they missed a trick with the previous two in putting a slogan at the back of the shirt in the Japanese font. So overall, did Adidas do a good job for this 2018 rollout? The answer is yes. However, they are extremely guilty of not giving the same amount of creative attention to the likes of Iran, Egypt, and Morocco. I mean, these kits just look really plain and boring and stuff. Like they've just slapped on the Federation's logo as well as the Adidas logo and put the stripes wherever they wanted to put them, and not really added any of the similar design patterns that they've added to, say, for instance, like the Argentinian away kit or the Colombian home kit or something similar. And these countries are steeped in history, you know, so it would have been very easy to come up with a creative design to basically pay homage to these cultures. So I do feel Adidas and Nike as well, for to a certain degree, they're all guilty of not giving smaller federations, or by FIFA rankings that is, the similar creative attention that they actually deserve. So I mean, I'll be keen to connect with you a lot in the comments and find out which kits from the 2018 World Cup, made by Adidas in this case, that you found interesting, or that you love, or that you even own as well. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel, and then you can get alerted of videos like this in the future. See you in the next one.